This is just a mini broadcast because we want to do one in the dawn early light tomorrow. Instead, we got some technical problems today, but we do want to do our traditional blessing for our families so they know that we've been thinking about them and loving them and hugging them in our thoughts and our prayers. The light is on in all our hearts, even if a little dumb in rather many right now, especially in cultures which are not exactly at the highest on happiness quotient today. We know they will again be brighter very soon because all are being co-drafted now to save our planet. We have with us fresh, marvelous, miraculous budding flowers in water, and it's almost the beginning, well, it is now the beginning of spring in the southern hemisphere, and all must become so in our hearts, always must become so in our hearts, and share with love to all, both and each. We are praying to the Mother, Father, Goddess, God for all of you. You have no idea how many prayers you folks are getting. All the time, 24/7 prayers, while you're ignoring the most important aspect of life, which is connection, in so many of our homes, in so many of our atomized, nuclearized, and hierarchical bullying, troubled families in this culture. So we need to connect in a more loving way and also be able to stand up to the bullying that's part of our culture now in a loving way, giving even bullies options as to what they can do better. And we want to say that because we want to be sure our world, the micro level of that in the families of our neighborhoods and our world leads to the macro level, which is wars, nuclear wars, nuclear threats of war, building of weaponry, all of that goes on when we don't address, especially the hierarchies occurring in our families and in our neighborhoods. And we all know this is going on. So I don't know why people feel that it's unique to them. This is pandemic now. And I was pleased to hear that a bunch of students walked out of their school today, high school students, because they recognized that it was developing an authoritarian atmosphere. Our culture is becoming authoritarian, and that's a form of sociopathy. We don't want that. Let's get back to love and mutual love and respect. Not just one way, but mutual connection, love, and respect. So we are praying to the Mother, Father, Goddess, God for all of you as our Kazina sisters and young Kazina cousin brothers, sisters and cousin brothers every day, and all people and all on planet Earth. We have with us the milk of human kindness for all, both and each and every one. I sip to represent everyone. And I need to say something. When you're dealing with bullies, sometimes kindness is a matter of being truthful and not being so kind that they miss the signal that there's something about what they're doing that is wrong. We have with us the water of loving living planets with which we must sustain our Earth to be such in a glass that shows the sun. Oh, and here's that. Our stars, a glass that shows the sun, our star, and the moon and all the stars. I sip to represent everyone. We have with us fresh fruits of the earth. We have with us fresh fruits of the earth in rainbow colors like the rainbow of humanity and of light, with white wrapped in gold and world globe chocolates. And There are fresh cakes in the refrigerator, and we'll celebrate and re-celebrate all birthdays and holidays. We'll co-love, co-live, co-grow, co-enlighten, co-heal, co-learn, and co-lead together. I represent all the great and grandmothers and children, female and male, including young and young at heart cousines and young at heart cousins and brothers, including great and grandpas and cousins, who are all sisters and brothers, because cousines and cousins are just sisters and brothers of sisters and brothers' children, who figured out with me and more all our precious value. All mistakes ultimately can be forgiven. We've kind of gone a bit into hell in this culture. It's become a bullying culture, one of the most unhappy on the face of the planet. And it is bullying around the whole world and making people who don't even live in this area unhappy. And a lot of us aren't facing that. There's a lot of denial in our culture right now. And denial usually gets waked up big time by Mother, Father, Goddess, God. Big time. So we have to be aware that God is God doles out learning lessons for all of us, and we're supposed to learn from them to bring a greater insight to what we want for our world. But all mistakes can be forgiven. Everyone just needs to wake up quickly now so they don't cause more problems and rediscover love power you have and share. And sometimes that means being a little bit direct and straightforward and analytical with people who are out of whack. And we have a lot of that going on in our culture. And so sometimes we have to speak the truth. Truth is a form of love. And I'll come to visit you, and you'll come to visit me very soon, and we'll gather together. The kitty cats are purring. Highs to all. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Namaste, Bahava, L'chaim, Shalom, living peace culture, and truth, Satyagraha culture, and every blessing in all languages. There will be a more complete broadcast tomorrow. We had to delete the one that got all kind of messed up, but it is an interesting aspect to that, which we will discuss. And that was mostly a technical problem, but I think that it was just not the best time of the day to do it. The better time is in the early day, and we're going to do that, and during the daytime tomorrow, as we always do. And we love you all. And we want you to know that the light remains on in my heart for everyone, no matter how silly or ostrich-like or bullying or whatever they are, as long as people are still striving for something that can be sustainable and lovable in our world, lovable and sustainable and livable, then we can make it. We have a lot of people who are making mistakes right now, and I'm sure I've made my share. But I'll say one more simple thing. The greatest mistake in our time is to live in denial about the impact of patriarchy and false hierarchy. This was essentially the message of Mariama of Magdala and Jesus of Nazareth. If you read very carefully what they spoke about, they spoke about the issues of false hierarchy and domination. And although they always, as all of the great religious leaders, Buddha, Confucius, they all wanted people to be forgiving and forbearing, but they also wanted them to speak the truth and not to be afraid to speak the truth. Because truth is one of the highest forms of love. So, we are kind of warning everyone in North America As long as people are in denial about the fact that they're in false hierarchy and patriarchy, Mother Nature is about ready to deliver, with the help of Father Time, who is not a sexist and is not a hierarchicalist when it comes to loving humanity on this earth. Quite a bit of feedback to North America. My birthday is tomorrow, and I expect that between my birthday, which is Rosh Hashanah in one of the heritages of the world, the New Year in that heritage, and actually a New Year heritage in days in several heritages, and it is the beginning of spring, the new spring year in South America and in the Southern Hemisphere. So it is a new year in many places on our planet when you think of spring as the beginning of the year, which is what the ancients actually did. The ancient cultures thought not of January as the beginning of the year, but of March. And September is the equivalent of March in the Southern Hemisphere. So we know that we have to start off a new year letting go of patriarchy and false hierarchy. If we do not, and many of us do not, Mother Nature and Father Time will give us extreme feedback now. There's no way out of this. So I hope you've been reading and heeding what I have been writing to you, because those who do not will find themselves in a society that they never wanted to live in, and a world that is crumbling and forming sinkholes and volcanoes and earthquakes and tornadoes and hurricanes all around them. And the plankton will continue to die, and the bees will continue to die. This is what the price humanity will pay for holding on to false hierarchy and to patriarchy, which is one of its most pandemic forms. Patriarchy and racism, or majorityism that disrespects minorities in any part of the world, are the most pernicious and ugly aspects of this. We also find it in our family lives. There's a lot of bullying, especially of older siblings toward younger. But the whole culture, our culture, is a culture that is not one of mutual caring and sharing. So everybody gets caught up into this dance until we face it and change it to one of love, to one of connection, to one of response, as well as thoughts shared. We need to have the circle process. We need to find a way to become mutual again. You all know the ways of the teleconferences. This is the year 2014. Adult human beings should be able to get on a phone and have a circle process. Those who are not are caught in an emotional bind, and they must face it and look in the mirror and overcome it now, because we all need one another to survive on this planet. It's that simple. We love you. We'll do a much longer and better broadcast tomorrow. Many, many other things. You saw yesterday we did a reenactment of the combination of Mad Women of Shiloh, one of the most famous plays of humanity, and the episode at Farpoint of Star Trek about the judgment of humanity's violent tendencies. So we will have plenty to talk about this week. It's my birthday week. It's the beginning of spring and the new year. Let us love one another and know that sometimes love means truth, and telling people the truth so that they can learn from the truth and bring themselves up to the kind functioning and loving, caring, truthful functioning that we must have on our planet. Every blessing, and namaste.